Hello to everyone in attendance this evening.
Hi, Scotty.
Hey, looks like we're gonna have a pretty full room this evening. So let's get started. At the top of the list, we've got Bob, and if anybody would like to turn their camera on, you go over on the left-hand side in the GoToMeeting control panel. You can click to share my webcam. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But we're gonna start with Bob at the top. Bob, what have you got?
I'm just lurking.
All right, I like the way you put that. Let's move to Carl. Carl, can you hear us? And do you have something this evening?
Yes, Scotty. Yeah, good evening. Well, I think, with all these new products coming out from Cupertino, I think I'm going to work tonight too.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. Hopefully no one's iPhone 6s have bent in half. Of course, that's all the rage these days, is talking about things that bend. Let's move to Joan. Joan, what have you got?
Not a whole lot. The same problems, but we won't get into those. I did update to iOS 8. I have not done 0.1 or 0.2. And the only problem I had, which I think I'm lucky because a lot of my friends have had tons of problems, is that unfortunately some of my old apps from like 4 or 5 years ago no longer work. Yeah. And one of them was my diary.
Oh.
However, I had something told me years ago to do 2 diaries and do a copy paste.
Yeah.
So the diary program that I loved is a goner.
Yeah.
But the one I don't like is still working.
And
that's really the only problems I've had. And I miss some of my old programs.
Well,
they're in the App Store.
That brings up a really good conversation that we can have. Let's say, for instance, people ask me all the time, Scotty, which password manager should I use? Or which weight loss app do you like? That kind of thing. Once you pick an app, you are investing a lot of time and sometimes money into that app, which means that you're really investing in the person that's writing the app, and you're hoping that a year from now or 10 years from now, they're still going to be developing that app. So for instance, when you have a password manager, LastPass, 1Password, those are state of the industry. Those are well known. A lot of people use them. I don't think those are going anywhere. And then every once in a while, somebody will come up to me and they'll say, hey, Scotty, I've got this new one that I'm checking out. What do you think about it? And I normally don't recommend something that I've never heard of, or that only 1 or 2 people have told me about. It usually takes a long time before I say, yeah, that's the way to go, for exactly this reason. It could happen with a weight loss program. So let's say there's MyFitnessPal, and I use one called Lose It. And you invest all this time, and how many calories am I putting through years and years, and you want to see what your weight is from 2 or 3 years ago, and I do that all the time, and then all of a sudden that app doesn't work in iOS 8 anymore, or the next version of the operating system. Tonight I use a piece of software that I usually use to emulate what my phone looks like on my computer called Reflector. Well, right before I got online with everybody tonight, I was running the update. There was an update for that, and it killed the app. So, now I can't use my iPhone to emulate. So, a couple of things to pull from this. Number one, never ever run the updates when you first see them. Always wait a week or 2 weeks before you see them, because this is a perfect example. Apple released iOS 8 last week. Within 2 days, or 3 days, they released iOS 8.0.1. And then, just a couple of days ago, they released 8.0.2. So, people ask me, I had a gentleman ask me today, I can't believe that Apple would put out a device that they have to put out an update for immediately. And I told the fella, I said, it's one thing for Apple to test iOS 8.0 on 1,000 devices, meaning the 1,000 employees that might be privy to having that device or that piece of software. It's another thing to roll it out to 70 million people. So when they roll that software out to somebody like all of us here, not all of us have the iPhone 6. Some of us have iPhone 4, some of us have iPhone 5, and the software acts differently on every device. So when you get 20 million or 70 million people testing that software that day, you're going to find problems. So Apple's doing the best they can. I'm sure there are problems with 8.0 There are always problems, not just with Apple, but every piece of software. So how can you avoid this? Always wait as long as you can on updates before you jump into the latest version of something. If you're on a business computer and you make a living off that computer, you shouldn't update for months and months and months. Until you're really, really sure that it's gonna function the way you want it to. But lastly, if you're downloading an app or you're using an app and it's one of these things where you're going to invest a lot of time and possibly money into, read a lot of reviews and ask a lot of people before you start that journey. Bob, you had your hand raised. Yes, sir. What? We're going back to you.
Yeah, there's a rasping and crackling sound that's occurring frequently in this transmission. Any idea?
Yeah, we had it a couple of weeks ago as well. I can't identify who it is. I don't know. We're just going to forge on and live with it. I could go through individually and mute each person, but it would take too long. Can we live with it?
That's good.
All right. All right. So there's my big speech, Joan, on not updating too quickly and move it and try to.
Scotty, even if I had waited, this one app and a couple of others are no longer in the iTunes store.
Yeah.
So I would have lost them one way or another.
Yeah. When you read reviews, and this kind of brings up another little point, when you read reviews in the App Store, don't get too uptight if, let's say your favorite app, let's say you've got a jogging app, and you go to look at the latest version of that jogging app, and it says 1 star, it's only got 1 star. One of Apple's problems is that every time an iOS developer or an app developer rewrites or changes goes to a next version, they throw all those reviews away and you start over again. So let's say like this Fusion graphic right here. I have no idea what this is, but it has 29 ratings. Now that particular version of that piece of software has a 4-star rating, but the one prior to it, let's say 7.3 or whatever it was, might have 5 stars or might only have 2 stars. So you really have to kind of dig around and don't just use ratings within the App Store, because every time something gets updated, the ratings get thrown away. So you really have to talk to other people and read on the internet besides just the App Store as well. All right, we're going to move on. I've got Alan up next. Alan, what can I do for you this evening?
Yes, Scotty. I realize I've probably got 500 songs on my iPad and iPhone that my son has downloaded. I really don't want them on there. It's taking too much space, and I'm scared other kids are going to listen to it. So I've gone, to iTunes. I've, checked the songs I wanted to download, sync back over, but I can't seem to get rid of these songs.
Okay.
I know on my iPad I can go and delete them one by one, but then I'm afraid next time to sign on the cloud that it's going to be put back on there. How do I just get them off my iPad and iPhone?
Okay, that's a great question, and this is a question that I get a lot from a lot of people. Either they don't see all their songs, or or they have songs there that they don't want. I'm guessing, Alan, that your son purchased a lot of these songs. So I'm.
Purchase.
You say that again?
100% are purchased.
Okay, so we can throw songs away, but we cannot throw the fact that we bought the song away. In other words, when you buy a song, and I've said this to many, many people, I say it probably 3 or 4 times a day, when you buy a song, you're not buying the file, you're buying permission to download the file for the rest of your life. So when you turn on your phone and you look at the songs, some of those songs are actually on your device, maybe, and other ones have clouds next to them, a little cloud on the right-hand side. Those clouds mean that you purchased the song, and Apple wants to show you that you purchased the song, so they're showing the fact that it's in your inventory and you could click on it and it could download. So that's good in that it doesn't take up space on your device. It's bad in that if you want to listen to the song and you're not on an internet connection, like you don't have 3G or you don't have LTE or a Wi-Fi network, you can't hear the song. But it's also bad in your case, Alan, that you don't want to see these songs. Maybe your son bought the Beastie Boys and you're not interested in the Beastie Boys. So you want to hide those purchased songs. Now here's the trick. You can't hide only some of the purchased songs and not all the... You can either hide all of them or none of them. So I'm trying to wait.
They're actually on my device. There's no cloud next to it, either one of them.
Okay, well, if they're on your device, then you need to plug up iTunes and plug your phone into whichever copy of iTunes that you use. I'm guessing on your iMac, probably in your case, that has your large your iTunes library, and go into sync the songs and uncheck to sync. When you uncheck to sync the music, it's going to take all the music off of the device, which is totally fine. Then when you resync, you're going to put on only the songs that you want. One of the settings
That's what I've done. I've unsynced them on my computer, and then when I sync again, they appear again. I'm just wondering, is it somehow going through the cloud and reappearing on my computer?
only if they were purchased. Now, you know what iTunes Match is. We've talked about this a lot.
Yes, I don't have it.
Okay, and you're not using iTunes Match, so they're not falling back from the cloud. Now, the fact that you bought them could fall back on, but they would normally have clouds next to them. Now, there is a way, and I apologize for my phone not being able to show up on the screen tonight, but there is a way to hide iTunes purchased songs. And if you're interested, I'll walk through it real quick. In your phone, you go to Settings, and then you go to iTunes and App Store. And I'm recording this, so anybody who thinks I'm going too fast, you can always go back and watch this on the video that I'll post onto the website. And let's see, where is it? Purchased music. I think it's in Settings and then Music. Once you go to Music, Show All Music is either checked or not checked. If you turn off the button next to Show All Music, that hides the music that you purchased or the fact that you purchased a song. But in your
Doesn't save you any space though.
No, that saves you no space. It's just a little sentence saying you own Bob Dylan's greatest hits. Bob Dylan's greatest hits is not actually on the device. There's also that same setting in iTunes itself. But, Alan, to answer your question maybe a little bit better, if you can't seem to get those songs off of the device, here's what I would suggest do. Sync it to iTunes, uncheck all the music, and when you uncheck the music in iTunes, it says, we will remove the music off of your device. You've seen that probably. When you select that, sync it, but don't resync it. Unplug it, and then look at your device and see if you have the music. If the music's gone, then you'll go through and just select certain playlists. In other words, get down to 0 and then build back up to the jogging playlist and your Monday night playlist, etc., etc. But if
I do the sync or I do the manual?
I would do automatically sync. When you select the iPhone in the left-hand column in iTunes, you'll go across the top and you'll see music. You're going to select music, and then you can have the choice. The first checkbox is the ability to sync all music or no music from within iTunes. Uncheck that. And when you uncheck that, it's going to say, all right, well, we're going to remove the music off your device then, and that's what you want to do. All right? I'm going to keep moving here. We've got Bridget on a web viewer. Bridget, you're on the web viewer right now. I can't hear you because you're not using the actual application. I will, in the meantime, let's see if I can get Bridget in. Bridget, I'm going to send, if you can hear us, I'm going to send you a request that you can send that you can download the latest version of the GoToMeeting software. And in the meantime, I'm going to go to Diane, who is next. Diane, what have you got?
Hey Scotty, I've got a quick question about Dropbox, and you know how we worked the other day on trying to get personal stuff out of the Dropbox for the employee?
Yes.
So on her computer, the employee's computer, where it says, let's see, in the file, and it says all my files.
Yes.
She can see everything, all those files. So how do I get them? You know, you created just a Dropbox for us,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
For my company,
Yeah.
CNI. So how do I get rid of all those files that she can access that are personal and also of the company?
All right, let me back up and let me grab the first three, or those three keywords, all my files. And I don't want to jump over to your screen because you've got personal information I know that we don't need to reveal. So I need to kind of go through this. When you say all my files, are you talking about in the Finder window of your own computer?
I'm talking about in the Finder window of her computer, the employee's computer.
Oh, okay. All right. So what you need to do, it sounds like there are files that haven't been deleted. Now, this is the employee's computer that you're going to hand over to somebody, right?
That's right.
And you still have it in your possession right now.
Now I do, yes.
Okay, so what you need to do is find one of those files. So if you, and we're looking at my desktop right now, and one of the things, and I'm just kind of get on a rant here, we're looking at my desktop with a Finder window open right now, and Apple by default, which I absolutely hate, has enabled this view called All My Files. And I'm going to show everybody where that is and how you can turn it off. If within the Finder, and the Finder is just your desktop, it's how you find things. It's this little window with all these different folders. So under Preferences in the actual Finder application, there is an ability to open the new Finder window with All My Files. Now, that All My Files choice then means that if you open a Finder window, the first thing that it shows you is every single file on your computer, including a lot of files that you and I and everybody in this meeting don't even need to be bothered with. So, except in Diane's issue, which actually is kind of saving hers because she's got some privacy concerns, but for most of us, matter of fact, when I help a person set their computer up, before they even know it, I go in here to Finder Preferences and I set that new Finder window variable to like just their house, the actual users folder, because that All My Files slows things down. As you can see on my computer, it's taken forever, and there's a million files that I do not need to see on my computer. So I think this was a terrible move on Apple's part to make this default All My Files, because it just confuses people. But in your case, Diane, you have the ability to reveal some of these items that are on the computer that you don't want to be on the computer when you hand it over to somebody else. So what you need to do, Diane, is find where they live. And the way to find where they live is to click on one time. Don't double click it, but you click on it once. And when you click on it once, down here at the bottom of the screen, it will show you the path on where it lives. Scotty, documents, legal PDFs, account statements. That's the one that's what I need to, and that's going to give you an idea of where these classified documents live in your case. And you're going to go find that folder because you have a path, delete the folder, empty the trash. All right?
So when I clicked on it,
don't double click.
All my files.
Yeah.
Right? So I just click one time.
On one of the files.
On one of the files, I click once, and there's nothing. It's just about 300 or 500 files on and on and on.
Okay.
And nothing at the bottom.
Okay, so that means that if you don't have that showing at the bottom, let me see. There's a window to turn that on. Okay, under the word View in Finder, if you can see on my desktop, under the word View, you have the ability to show or hide the path bar, and that's what you want to turn on. You find it on your computer? Under the word View in Finder, you have to be in Finder.
Yeah,
in other words,
path bar.
Right, show path bar.
Yes.
Okay, now when you
right.
click on that, there you go. Now you'll see that that file, and it'll show you where that particular file lives. And what that's going to give you then, Diane, is the map on how to get to that treasure chest that you can throw away.
You mean, so for 505,
No.
me,
No.
I mean,
Listen to me.
seriously.
Once you find that one, most likely they all live in the same place. So when you track it down, you're not throwing away, in my case, I'm not throwing away 10/07, which is the file I have highlighted. I'm going to throw away the account statements folder or the legal PDFs folder. In other words, the folder that it lives inside. Because once you found one ant, you've found a million ants, right? Don't kill one ant at a time. Find where they live and throw the house that they live in away. All right? Does that make sense?
Okay, so but one more time. Show me on your computer again, where is it that I find those,
Okay.
that pathway?
So let's say I've got an item here that I just want to get rid of out of my life. Let's see. All right, this guy right here. I'm going to click on this. When I click on it, I look at the very bottom, and it says, all right, it's in my users folder, which I cannot throw away, which is also in my documents folder. I cannot throw the documents away. Oh, but here's a folder called Paniello that has this document that I want to throw away. Most likely, that whole document is that whole folder is what I want to get away. So I open up a new Finder window. I'm going to go File, New Finder window, and I'm going to go drill down to where that thing lives. So let's see. There's my house. Let's see. There's the documents folder in a folder called Paniello, which is in here somewhere. There it is. And I select it, and I'm going to throw that. Oh, because look at all these other documents that I don't want on my computer. So I throw them all away by throwing that folder away.
So are you saying I know that my time's up, but let
No.
me just say, there's no way that I can turn off all my files so she can't see it, because I might want to keep those.
Well,
There's no way I can just turn it off so she can't see that stuff.
Well, remember what I said initially? Now, they are still on your computer. See, the fact that all my files is turned on means that a person that wants to dig around for a long enough time, they would probably be able to find those. Now, I would also empty your trash, Diane, because I think we set up a Dropbox with you, with a fresh one on the other day. Those Dropbox files may be in the trash. So if you select one, you might see those files are in the trash. So empty your trash as well. I'm going to keep moving, and we'll come back to you in a few moments. But this is not a hard problem to solve. All right.
Okay. Thank you,
It
Scotty.
takes a little bit of time. Let's move over to Leslie. Leslie, what have you got this evening?
Hi. First of all, I apologize if I've been coughing and sneezing. I have a head cold. I'm sorry.
No problem.
On my phone, on my iPhone, just recently, I have a picture on here, which is my screensaver, and it's a palm tree. But instead, occasionally what comes up is something that looks like one of those old discs, an LP, and it says LP U2 Cedarwood Road, and then it has an arrow to play it. Now, I don't know what this is.
Okay, just do that. So you've got a picture on your screen, like your little background screensaver sort of thing. The picture, we all have pictures on our iPhones, and the apps float on top of that, right?
Correct.
Are you saying that are you describing to me that the background picture changes and the apps still float on top of that?
No.
Okay, you're describing that some other command is popping up on your iPhone.
Correct.
Would it be safe to say that we can throw out the concept of pictures being in the background? That's really not a part of this. It's just that some command comes up on your iPhone that you're unaware of really what it does.
Correct.
Okay, so let's figure out what is this command. You said it has the word, man, I wish I could. I wonder if, you have your iPhone nearby, Leslie?
Yeah, right here.
From the bottom, and I apologize, I wish my iPhone was on the screen tonight. Take your finger on the first slide it to open it up. Yeah. Okay, let's go through a couple of things that some people accidentally trigger sometimes. Take your finger from the very bottom, like almost near the button, and slide upward. And let's see if you're getting, I can't really see, it's just a big bright light, so I can't really disseminate what that is. But is that what you're talking about?
Yes, and now it says Cedarwood Road, U2 Songs of Innocence.
All right, so what that is,
How did that get there?
that is a song, Leslie, that's in your iTunes library on your phone. And right now, mine says Chord Killer's audio podcast starring Tom Merritt. So if I hit that button, that play button in the middle, if I hit it, it would start playing it if I were actually there.
There's gonna be some angle.
So it's playing that song, or that podcast in my case. So that's really just a shortcut to get to the iTunes radio or the iTunes player for you. So that slide up and slide down, that act of sliding up and down gives you those other controls. And that confuses you if you're not used to it.
It's not a virus then.
No, not at all.
It's not a virus.
No, it's a function. Here's another function while we're on it. So that's called, gosh, I don't even know what that's called. It's like a little control center. You can turn off and turn on Bluetooth. That's a way to get to your flashlight, by the way, real quick, too.
Right.
So I use that all the time. People download flashlight app. You don't really need it. You got one. The other thing is, hey, what have I got going on my calendar today? What's on my schedule? So if you slide from the very top down, that pulls in more. That's called the notification center. So in my case, it tells me what I'm bidding on eBay or what's my next appointment. So those are features. All right?
Okay.
And then lastly, there's one more that confuses people, and that is to not slide down from the very top, but to slide down with two fingers. I'm launching an app, sorry. From the middle. And if you slide down from the middle, it gives you the ability to search your phone. Now, back in old iOS 6 and maybe iOS 7, you'd slide from the left. But now you can slide down in the middle, and it gives you the ability to search. All right?
Right.
And you can use one or two fingers.
How can I get rid of this? Because I don't listen to iTunes.
Okay.
or does it matter?
So it sounds like you have some songs on your phone. So we go back to what we were talking about with Alan earlier. Plug your phone up into iTunes, and when you plug your phone up into iTunes, on the left-hand side of iTunes, your phone will show up. You'll select your phone on the left-hand side, and when you select your phone, across the very top, it will say music, along with playlists and pictures and audiobooks. You'll select music, and then you'll uncheck what you do not want to be on your phone. All right? Okay.
And one other quick question.
Yes.
I have 6.2 gigabytes on my phone.
Okay.
What would you suggest to be the best number to have, or does it vary?
It varies in two places. When there's an update that comes out, like this most recent iOS 8. iOS 8, if you install it just from the phone and don't plug it up to your iTunes, then it requires like 6 gigs. And I've had a lot of people say, Scotty, I can't update to iOS 8 because my phone is so full of other stuff. So we go through and we clear off as much as we can, but here's a little secret. If you install it from iTunes, then from within, in other words, you plug it up with a wire and you install it through the application iTunes, you don't need 6 gigs. You might need 3 gigs. So to answer your question, if you don't mind plugging your phone up to iTunes every once in a while, you don't need a whole lot of space, maybe 2 or 3 gigs available. But I walk around all the time with barely any space available to me because I'll tell you what, this is how I make a living. What I'm about to say is how I make my living. Everyone in the world, probably somebody that's listening right now, every single person leaves the pictures on their phone and they do not take the pictures off of their phone. So I make a living helping people get their pictures off of their phone. And the reason I make a living doing it is because Apple has not made it perfectly understandable. And everybody takes tons of pictures, and then they never take their pictures off, although they think they're taking their pictures off. They say to me first, so I have the exact same conversation every day. They say to me, Scotty, my pictures are saved in iCloud. And I say, no, they're not saved in iCloud. iCloud is transferring them into iPhoto. So then the second sentence I get is, Scotty, my pictures are in iPhoto, so they're not on my phone, they're in iPhoto. And I say, no, some of your pictures are in iPhoto, but there are also pictures that are here because iPhoto is flawed and it doesn't, not iPhoto, PhotoStream or iCloud is not perfect. So some pictures stay on your phone and don't land in iPhoto. But B, they say, oh yes, Scotty, I'm deleting them because I plug up my phone. So this is the third thing they say to me. I plug up my phone, I open up iTunes, I'm a good citizen, and when it says, would you like to delete them off of your phone, Scotty, I click delete. And I say, that's fantastic. But you just deleted the ones you imported. You didn't delete the other 500 or 700 or 3,000 that are on your phone right now. So here is the mantra that I say to everybody. iPhoto is in charge of taking the pictures off of the phone. iTunes is in charge of putting the pictures onto the phone. Now, this is the piece that everybody misses, and this is where I make my money. When you plug your device up, your phone up, iPhoto opens. It says, would you like to import the pictures? And you say yes. And then it says, would you like to delete the pictures? And you say yes, delete them. But that number's always small. As soon as you do that, over on the left-hand side in iPhoto, it immediately jumps up to last import, which means it's no longer telling you anything about your phone. But if on the left-hand side of iPhoto, if you went back and clicked on the iPhone on the left-hand column, you will see a magic button that says remove all the pictures from your iPhone. And that's the button that nobody ever finds. And that's the button that I make a lot of money by helping people to find, and I click that, and then that frees up a lot of space off of their phone. Okay?
Okay.
All right, do you have
Thank you very much.
If anybody were to who's going to hire me, I guarantee you I'm going to have at least 5 clients this coming week that if they had just listened to what I just said and go through and find the secret button, remove all pictures, they wouldn't need me. But they might not. Let's move on. I've got Martine. You've been so patient. Martine, what can I help you with this evening?
Well, I'm going to be listening mostly today.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. But I am starting a new class for NYU online.
Yes.
And this one is about subtitling and voice replacement. I'm going to be using a lot of software that I don't know, but I will be working on Mac this time, not on Windows.
Yay!
And the first one that we'll be using this week, but I don't know anything about it, is .sub. And I don't know anything about it yet, but I will know better next time.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so just to kind of give you an idea, Martine does a lot of online classes. She does a lot of online learning, and some of her classes require Windows. So she has virtualization. So she runs, I don't know if she's doing it right now. It sounds like not right now, but she uses Windows inside her virtualization on her Mac to run some of the software. And it's actually very complicated software. So I'm very glad, Martine, to hear that you will be using an indigenous piece of Mac software for that. Good. Well, when you have questions, you'll come back to Town Hall and hopefully ask us.
Yeah, and then I have another question. I have not been backing up anything for 150 days, my computer says,
Yes.
because my my GoFlex was full.
Yes.
And so I bought a new one, which is Seagate Slim.
Yeah.
And I tried to put it in, and I could not do that.
Okay,
I'm
let's...
not going to try to get an answer today, but because I just want to listen. But.
Well, okay, well, I'll give you a couple of things to think about. First of all, Time Machine, which is the software that runs on your computer, was backing up this other drive, and it's unplugged or something right now, and you bought a new drive. Since you bought the new drive, Time Machine will back up to multiple drives. So all you really need to do is with that brand new drive, plug it up to the computer, and then you will go into System Preferences, and once you're in System Preferences, you'll go to Time Machine, and my System Preferences are, there they are. You're going to go into Time Machine System Preferences, and once you've selected Time Machine, you're going to select Disk. So here I am, I'm going to select Disk. Now it's going to give you a list of disks that are connected to your computer. And in this case, I've got a couple of drives here, so I'm going to select the new drive, and I'm going to use that drive. That's all you have to do. All right?
Okay,
So,
I will try.
and that's recorded, so you can always go back and listen in the previous town halls. All right, I'm going to keep moving, but I've got Bridget typed in a question, and I'm going to read her question. Bridget asks, how can I change the auto click to email someone from Outlook to the stamp? Okay, she has Outlook downloaded, but doesn't want to use it. However, when I click on something to email, it takes me to Outlook. Okay, this is an easy question to solve. Her default email program right now is Outlook. So in order to do this, Bridget, if you're listening, what you want to do is open up your mail program, the stamp. Apple calls it mail. I wish they would call it something more than that, but it's like calling your music player music, which is confusing. You know, luckily they use the word iTunes. But here, you open up your mail program, the stamp, and you go to Preferences. Under the word Mail, in the top menu item, Mail, and then Preferences. Once you get to Preferences, you want to change your default email program to Mail. Right now, it's probably going to say Outlook. So when Bridget gets an email, or when she clicks on my website, at the very bottom it says send Scotty an email. It opens up in Outlook. So right there it is. Under General, default email reader is going to be Mail, not Microsoft Outlook in your case. All right, that's going to take care of it. Okay, Bridget, I don't know if you ever joined us in the audio, but if you did, no, it doesn't look like. Yeah. Bridget, do you understand that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yes, thank you. I don't know how to work this, so I'm like,
You got it.
it worked.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so
Perfect.
that's changing the default email reader to your Apple Mail.
Right, it worked.
Yeah.
And very simple.
That's it. All right, let's see. We've got some more people that have just popped in. I'm going to jump to Kevin. You're on the web viewer right now, so I can't hear you. I will send you. Kevin, can I hear you? No.
Yeah, I'm on the phone.
Okay, what can I help you with?
You may have already had this question several times. I apologize, but there's a new free album by U2, which is available through iTunes. It says that you can basically that it should automatically pop up in your album list, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't see it there, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong in terms of finding it?
I haven't looked at this. No, but I haven't had this question. I have not. But I tell you what, let's go to the iTunes store. The first thing I would do, just the easy fix, is go try to buy it. And if I try to buy it, it's going to be free. So I'm going to download it. So let me just do it real quick. iTunes store. I've got it open, although I'm struggling on my connection here. YouTube. Any idea what the name? Songs of Innocence. Is that the?
Right there.
There it is. All right. Yeah, so you just walk through it there, and it's going to let you download it for free. What they did is they kind of shot themselves in the foot. They sent it down through iTunes automatically for everybody, and they realized that there are a lot of people that don't like U2. So a lot of people complain, why in the world are you putting this in my iTunes library? So here, Songs of Innocence, and by the way, Leslie, that might go back to your question. Yeah, they sent Leslie this album, and Leslie hates U2. I'm just kidding. Maybe she does. But if you want to re-download it, I'm sure that you can re-download it from here.
Yeah, but do you see how it shows purchase?
Yeah.
So when you click purchase, and then it gives you those drop-down things, but it's peculiar. It looks like you've already purchased it, but if you were to go to your own library, it doesn't show up there. And you're right, there was a backlash.
Yeah.
People saying, well, I didn't ask for, this to be part of my library, so on and so forth. But I've never been able to see it even when it first came out. We just thought I was going to see if it was in my library, and I've never been able to find it.
Well,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Programmer and his comic book collection.
Purchase to seeing it in my music, or just like you're looking at right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking on this library to see if it's here. And it doesn't look like it's on this computer. I've got iTunes open on another computer. Which is my actual real library. Let me go search, because I never opened this one that I'm using on this computer. Trying to search for that. Yeah, I don't have it on either of those. I don't have it in either of those libraries. So if we go back to the music store, I'm sure there's a way to get it downloaded. Has anybody run into this issue where they wanted to get the U2 album and they couldn't? You know what? Let's try this. Since it's not showing me the ability to download it right here, like there's no download button, let's go to purchased items. So I'm going to go back to the front of the store here. Let's see, iTunes Store. And I'm going to go into purchased items on my own. Let's see. And when I do, I might have to log in as myself. There's music, and it's going to pull up my history of what I've bought, basically. And I'm using a lot of bandwidth here, so it's taking some time for that to show up. But I'm hoping that U2 will be there, and then it'll have a cloud next to it, and I can click that and download it from the cloud. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. But it's taking forever on my computer here. While we're waiting on that to happen, let me see if there's anybody that I've missed. I think I've hit everybody at least once. No, I've got Patty coming up. Patty, while we're waiting on this, can you hear me? And do you have a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. One of my problems is trying to organize my photos, and I was trying to create an event today, and I flagged all the photos, and it created an event, but I don't see if I unflag them, will they go away? Does that make sense?
Say that again. Well, let me pause you, because I just came up with this answer to the other question on Kevin's question. That album is showing up here that I have it purchased.
Right.
And if I wanted to click that cloud, it would download everything. So to answer your question, Kevin, go into your purchase history, find it as a recent purchase, and click that cloud, and it should download everything locally to your device. All right? All right, I'm going to switch gears now back over to Patty. You had a question about flagging your iPhoto library pictures. So you flag them, and you're trying to create a new event. Patty, keep going with that description for me.
Okay, so I'm trying to create a new event, and I flagged all the photos, and I named it, but it once showed up under, let me see if I can pull it up, sorry. Under the library. I'm trying to figure out how to where to put it so that I can find it, and if I can, it says you can only have it in one event at a time, but can you have it in more than one
Album.
album?
Yes. Yeah, so you can have me in your 2007 Halloween pictures album. You can have me in your New Year's, the picture of me in your New Year's album, and so on and so on and so on. So that's what you'll want to do is don't think of event. Basically, it comes down to this. Events are times, a time that something happened, and albums are my favorite things. So if you think of those two sentences, an event is a group of things when, according to a time something happened, versus the album is my very favorite pictures of Thanksgiving, my very favorite pictures of my yard. So you want to create an album, and once you've drug all those pictures over that you flagged and you drop them in, whether or not they're flagged or not really doesn't have anything to, is irrelevant. It's once they get into that album, then they're there. Now, when you say the word flag, did you mean that you actually flagged, you used the flag tool to flag them?
Yes.
Okay. So that was just, go ahead.
When I was trying to create an event, I was having a hard time. I was dragging the photos to, each other. And then I saw flag and then under event create, and then under flag items.
Yeah, I think you kind of went down the wrong road a little bit. So the easier thing to do would be to use the great command. And so you go through and you got all your pictures. Let's say you got 40 pictures up on the screen. You hold the command key down. You say, I like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. And then you've already created your album on the left-hand side, and you'll drag those pictures into that album.
Okay.
So you really didn't even have to use flag at all.
Well, that's why this is great. Thank you so much.
All right. I've hit everybody at least once, so I'm just going to open it up to the most boisterous person. Yeah, Bob with his hand raised. Thank you so much, Bob. If you raise your hand, you always get called on first.
The question I raised a couple weeks ago was about a screen that was appearing every time, or a window that was appearing every time I started up. I didn't quote it exactly, but it's still there. So I got rid of it.
All right.
The disk you inserted was not readable by this computer.
Oh.
Initialize, ignore, or eject.
Okay,
And
so
if I hit eject or ignore, it just comes back the next time.
that's right, because you have a hard drive or a flash drive or something physically connected to this computer, to your computer. It's physically connected. So look around your computer. Do you have some hard drives connected?
I only have one extra hard drive, and I don't think it's currently attached to my machine.
Well, I bet you it is. Let's go, let's jump over to your window here, Bob. I'm going to ask to look at your screen, and we're going to open up a program in just a moment. So here comes to, and I'm going to ask for requests. So we're going to make Bob the presenter. We're going to look at his screen. What's happened here is he's got a hard drive or some sort of device plugged up that is not formatted for the Mac, or it's broken. And every time he starts it up, the computer's saying, hey, what do you want us to do with this thing? We don't understand what it is. So we're going to try to track down what this is. So Bob has a request. There we go. We're looking at Bob's screen. And now that we're looking at your screen, Bob, I'm going to go to the very top. And I'd like you to click on the Spotlight search, Bob, in the very top, and search for the word disk utility. The top right-hand corner of your... Oh, there it is. I was looking in the total wrong place. Yep, up in the top right.
Yeah.
Select Spotlight. It's a magnifying glass. There you go. Click on that and type in the word disk. All right. Hit return to open that program. In this program, disk utility, yep, it's going to tell us what devices are connected. Okay. So you've got your Seagate drive that looks like it's connected. You've got these two over here. Let's select this install, and let's see if we can just get rid of that. That's garbage. We don't need that anymore. So let's see if I can just delete that. Yep, and let's click that guy, and let's uninstall those. All right, those were just little things that you may have installed in the past, and they might have been in the startup items. But I think that's going to solve it. As long as you don't have, as long as you don't have any other drives physically connected.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Then we're good.
No, the backup is the only one.
All right. Who wants to jump in? We have a couple more minutes here. Is that Kevin?
It's Alan.
Okay, yeah, Alan. All right, take it. What do you got?
It's sort of similar to the last one. You know, we have a couple computers here. On my third floor, I have not been connected to iCloud, but I finally cleaned up my contacts and cleaned off about 500 contacts that, after all these years.
Yes.
I'm afraid to attach it to iCloud
Yeah.
because won't it then repopulate with all of the contacts elsewhere? So how do I get this one on iCloud without doing that?
That's a great question. So the first thing you want to do before you do anything, right now, to paint the picture for everybody else, Alan has a set of, and let me hide these contacts because people's personal information shows up. These guys don't care. You've got a set of contacts in your address book locally on that computer that is not talking to the cloud right now, and you have a set of contacts that are in the cloud. So if you turned on iCloud from within system preferences, it's very possible that the contacts you have on this computer are going to merge with the contacts that you have with the cloud. And maybe you want to do that, maybe you don't. So before you do anything...
Well, which way does it go? I mean, is it possible that would erase the contacts on the other one?
No, it's going to merge them. It's going to ask you, would you like us to merge them? And most of the time we merge. So, so they're going to merge them. But before you do anything, a safe thing to do would be to make a copy of your contacts on the computer in question, and then to also make a copy of the contacts on another computer somewhere. So, because you've got multiple computers. So, first thing I'm going to do is, oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to put this computer online with iCloud. I don't want it to do something crazy. So, I'm going to go under the word contacts, or maybe it's under file, and I'm going to export an entire contacts archive. In other words, a copy of all of my contacts and all my groups of all my contacts. So then in case something goes wrong, the nuclear bomb hits, I have a restart. I have a way I can go right back to the way it was. And you're going to do that contacts archive in 2 places. All right? Now,
and just export it to the desktop?
Yeah. And there's a difference between exporting a V card. Let me go back to my contacts again. Exporting the V card versus exporting contacts archive. You want to export the archive because the archive is going to export the entire, it's going to save the entire address book, including all of your left-hand column groups. Now, if you turn on, let's say you've done some cleanup on one, but you didn't do the cleanup on the other. When you deleted them, and you deleted them while they were offline, yeah, the problem's going to exist. You're going to turn these on online, and just because you deleted me on this contact database, my card exists on another computer, so it's just going to replace it. So what you really should do if you're cleaning an address book up is clean it up on the cloud computers. Don't clean it up on the offline computers.
Yeah.
All right?
I thought about that too late.
Not necessarily. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I mean, it would take me digging through it. I don't like creating business for myself, but I could probably help you. If you've invested a ton of time and you've gotten rid of 1,000, then maybe it would be worth it. But otherwise, just do the work again. But all right.
Can I ask a follow-up to that, Scotty?
Take it.
So if I want to go to the iCloud and clean up my contact list,
Yeah.
where do I do that? I go to iCloud?
There's 2
Where's
places.
that?
Well, you could do it from any devices connected to iCloud. So if I have my iPad here and I want to sit out on the front porch and I want to delete these contacts, as long as my iPad is connected to my iCloud settings, which almost everybody is, then when I delete these, they're going to fall off of my Mac over in my house. I could do it from my phone while I'm sailing on my boat, and they're going to fall off of all my other devices. You could do it from a computer, and that makes the most sense, because I can then say, I can play the cool game. I can say, all right, with my trusty command key again, I'm going to hold down the command key, and I'm going to say, I don't like that person, I don't like that person, and I don't like that person, and then I can delete them all at one time. You can't do that on the iPad. All right?
Okay. All right.
Is there a way to see a list of everything that's on iCloud by file size?
Did you say by file size?
Well, yeah. How much? Like if I have 4.5 gigs of 5 taken up, how do I know what is up there?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right, so that changes the question just a little bit. We're now moving to iCloud storage file sizes is really kind of what he's asking about. So we're going to leave contacts. iCloud stores, lots of things. It stores your contacts, it stores your calendars, it stores your email. It's if you're using at iCloud, at me, or at mac.com. It stores your documents that you created within Pages, Keynote, and Numbers, or text edit. As a matter of fact, by the way, I'm using the beta version of Yosemite, and I'll show you what is going to be wonderful once iCloud shows up with everybody. Over here on the left-hand side, many of you use Dropbox, and so I click on Dropbox. I'm sitting on the left-hand side of my Finder window. I can see all the files that I have in Dropbox. But here is now a new button, iCloud Drive. So I can click that, and you don't have this yet, but you will when we all update to Yosemite 10.10. And you'll see there are folders for each thing. So if I click on Text Edit, here are all my Text Edit files. If I click on Pages, here are all my Pages files. So finally they're giving us a folder structure to look at these documents that we create. Most of us don't use this, but we will much more often. Or I can just say, you know what, there's a document that I've been using on my desktop and I just want to have it everywhere, so I'm going to pull it and I'm going to drop it into my iCloud Drive. So basically, it's a Dropbox, but it's Apple's version of Dropbox. All right, I'm going to take that back out again. But to answer your question, and I'm going to delete that. To answer your question, Alan, there is a way that you can manage your storage, or at least get an idea of what's going on. So in System Preferences, under the word iCloud, and I believe this is in 10.9 as well, you open up iCloud and you will have a little storage icon at the bottom. You can click that and it will show you Manage Storage, and it'll tell you how much of your space is taken up by email, how much of your space is taken up by such and such. There's that Manage button. So here I've got backups, and I've got some mail, so I can manage that storage that way. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's see. We've got time for a couple more. Anybody want to jump in?
Scotty, I have a question about dictation. Could you just go over again how you do that? Because I can find it, but I can't make it work.
Okay. Now, because I'm using a beta version of the software, I might not be in good shape here, but first thing I'm going to do is open up a little just document here. To turn on dictation, and dictation has been present, I believe, ever since at least 10.9, your computer has sort of a Siri kind of thing where it will write what you say as long as you've turned it on. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. First thing you got to do is turn it on. So we go to System Preferences, and in System Preferences you will see Dictation. There it is right there, Dictation and Speech. Now when you turn this on, it actually tells you what is the hotkey. In other words, what key do you use to trigger? So my dictation is turned on right now, and my shortcut to do this is to press the function key twice. So every person has a different way. Maybe you use a program where hitting the function key once, you want it to trigger something else, and maybe a flying game that you use. So you have to set the shortcut to what you want it to be. You have to understand what the shortcut is. So that's the first thing. Once you've got that and you've got a document open, let me see if I can open a document up real quick here. Then you hit that function key twice, you say what you want to say, and then you hit it, I think, once to close. So I'll try that right now. I haven't tried this. And by the way, this uses the internet. So function key.
Oh, it worked.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it will dictate what you want it to say. All right? And that's it. So I won't try it. Okay, anybody else got another question?
No, I just think one cool feature of the new iOS is that you can do dictation and texting.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Dictation and what?
Texting. You just push the button and you talk, and it goes through as a voice memo via texting for free.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to bid farewell to everyone. Thank you so much. I'll record it. I've recorded it. It'll be up on the internet probably tomorrow morning under the previous town halls. So if I went a little bit too fast, then you can go back and check it out. If I wasn't able to answer your question completely, I apologize, but I do thank everybody for showing up. And if you haven't in a while, please submit a review to Apple. There's a review link on my website. I would greatly appreciate it if you let Apple know if I was able to help you. And I'll see you all soon.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.